What is this unconscious mind about? What does it do? What does it like to do? Is it good? Is it bad?
It's a resource.
Resourceful, creative. Creative, excellent. What else is it?
Feelings?
Definitely feeling. There was one over here. Yes, fight or flight. Feelings. Fight or flight. Yes, that's your amygdala kicking in. What else?
Keeping against the light.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put protection. Protection. Okay.
Healing versus disease.
Beg your pardon?
Healing versus disease.
Yep. So definitely part of your healing.
Stores everything.
Definitely stores everything. It's all your memory. Let's go one more.
All our learned responses, all our automatic learned responses.
Excellent. All automatic.
As in, say, behaviours.
Definitely. And that creates the conundrum we're in. The unconscious mind deals with all our behaviour that usually gets created when we're young. I won't get into the details of it, let's just keep it open-ended like that. However, when we're young, we require different behaviours than we do as an adult. So, what do we do with those old behaviours that no longer serve us when we grow older? We're stuck with them. We have the same thinking, we have the same reactions, the same things about what never used to bother us as a child or when we were younger, now bother us as an adult, which is why we have hypnotherapists. And why we have therapists, because we go in saying, I have this in my life, it was great back then, but now it's a hindrance, it doesn't work. What do I do with it? Who here has ever had, I know this might be stretching it, who's ever had a problem before? You might want to think, okay. Who's tried to fix their problem consciously by reading a book, going to a self-development seminar and feeling good for a couple of days, feeling like the whole world's working for you? You forget about the problem, then reality kicks in and that problem's waiting there for you, and you think, damn, I thought I got rid of you. But doesn't it seem to come back heavier and harder? It's like it's pointing out saying, I told you I'd be here. Okay, who's had that before? And what do? I'm going to read another book. I'm going to go to another seminar. I'm going to talk to another person. I'm going to go get advice. Why do these problems persist?
You don't solve the problem.
Okay, don't solve the problem.
Fight, flight or shite is what we use.
Fight, flight or shite, yes.
So if you don't fight or flight,
Yes.
you end up in the shite.
I like that.
So
I like
that's a lot
that.
of modern day living.
Yes.
We're stressed out by things that we can't actually go away from.
Yes.
Can't solve.
Yes.
So we end up in the...
Yes. Do you mind if I name my book that? Fight, flight or shite? That's fantastic. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I do. My mum's Scottish, so I can put a Scottish accent on, but I don't know about Irish. Okay. What I would like you to do is answer this question, because this will give us the context of every problem you have. Every problem I have. Every problem, everyone met Svetlana at the start, every problem she has, everybody in this room has the same problem, different context of course, for this one reason, and the same reason is why you cannot get rid of it. I would like you to answer these questions in your groups. If you've played this exercise, just keep it to yourself for now, keep it a secret. Why do we have problems? Okay, in your groups, discuss, write down as many theories as you think you can put down. Why do we have problems? Let's answer that question. All right, folks, what theories do we come up with? Might have to get all philosophical.
Original sin.
What's that? Original sin, yes. I like this guy. Okay, best comments. Okay, original sin. Okay, why do we have problems? Let's see what we can come up with.
Our education.
Education, or too much or lack thereof.
Too much for
Yep.
people, the parents.
Yes, definitely, yes. Why else do we have problems?
Society, parents, religion.
Society, parents, religion, yes,
Judge
yes,
themselves.
yes. All of the above. Excellent, plus heaps more. Why else? We have the internet over here, which is
What about
good.
a process for learning?
Give me a bit more.
So as a child, you fall over as you're learning to walk.
Yep.
Your problem is you can't walk, and you just keep engaging that problem until you can.
Yep, exactly. So it's working through a problem, so that becomes a solution outcome, which is perfect, yes.
Well, we define things as problems.
You define, now we're thinking, we're defining things that are problems. The old saying, don't make a mountain out of a molehill, fits perfectly there. What else? Why do we have problems?
We tried something, it didn't work, so consequently it's never going to work.
Exactly. We start to define one outcome when there's several we haven't tried. Excellent. What else?
We deserve them.
We deserve them, yes. Some of us do. I've met plenty of those people. Be sitting in front of me in my therapy office going, I don't know if you deserve to have this outcome. Yeah, you're not a nice person. Why else?
The internet creates problems.
Internet definitely creates problems.
Everything we read
Yes.
we turn into a problem.
Yes, we're influenced easy by, especially by media, especially the way the world is right now. What a mess the world is in right now. Okay, and it's only getting worse. Why else?
Conflicting information.
Conflicting information. Who has ever had that before?
Propaganda.
Propaganda, yeah.
Our expectations don't meet reality.
Excellent.
Yes.
You go into the blame game. Why do they have it and I don't? Why are they rich and I'm poor? Why am I rich and the rest of the world is poor? Works both ways.
Our beliefs,
Expensive.
what about our beliefs?
Definitely our beliefs. They come down to what are known as moral values, and they're definitely created when we're children. Okay, we'll talk about more of that on day 3.
The disconnect between our conscious and unconscious and how we really ignore or don't know if the unconscious exists.
Excellent. So but definitely a disconnect, and this is a perfect segue into the next question. That's fantastic. It's a good group. What I would like you to do is ask this question. Why can't we solve our own problems? Now, I'm not saying this is the fact all the time, but why is it so difficult? It's probably a better word. Why is it so difficult to solve our own problems without an intervention? Now, I don't mean just a therapeutic intervention. It could be just a deeping meaningful with your mum and dad or a friend, just someone who's there to intervene. Why is it so difficult to solve our own problems? In your groups, discuss, and then we can move forward into this platform because it gives us another perfect segue. All right, folks, let me grab your attention. Let's have a chat. So, why is it so hard to solve our own problems?
Do it at a conscious level rather than an unconscious level.
Excellent, we do it at a conscious level. Okay. When the problems are unconscious. Who believes that the problems exist unconsciously? Yes. By the end of day 3, you'll believe it like the sky is blue, because I will prove it over and over. Okay? Perfect, fantastic. Why else is it hard to solve our own problems?
Because we're teaching our kids and our people how to give them a fish rather than show them how to fish.
Excellent. So instead of educating, we advise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. What else?
Ownership? We got to own the problem.
Definitely got to own it. Yeah.
Sometimes don't recognise it even.
Now we're thinking.
Yes.
If we were going to combine what you said before, which was our problems are unconscious, we try and fix them consciously, plus we don't recognise what the problem is, we're getting there. This is great. Why else?
Become part of our identity.
Definitely becomes part of our identity. Some people don't want to miss out on that.
We don't want to let go of it. Maybe
Yes.
unconsciously don't want to let go of it.
It's all unconsciously, yeah. Okay?
Give my secondary gain.
Definitely secondary gain.
Problem, then who am I?
Yes.
What can I do?
Yes.
I get the attention that I want.
Yes. I'm a serial complainer, and if I don't become that complainer, I won't get the attention from my friends. I don't get attention anywhere else. What's going to happen to me? It's not a bad thing. The unconscious mind is still getting something from it. It's just we tend to walk away from that person because it's the same old story. Okay? What else?
Because we consciously push at a problem and try to bash at it to fix it.
Yes.
And then it just resists in itself. And that,
Yes.
from that approach, this is a conscious
Yes.
action.
Excellent. Now I'm going to gather all of these up into some simple acronyms, some simple solutions we can play with, just for the context of this training, just to make things easier for you. But what it should do for your own problems as well, it should allow you to recognise where you might have been going wrong in the past. Okay? Why do we have problems? Simply because we think we do. Where are our problems when we're not thinking about them? Where do they go? You could be in financial debt, and then all of a sudden your friends take you out for coffee, and you meet all these wonderful people, have a wonderful experience, and you forget about it for a while, don't you? Mm-hmm. But then when you go home and something triggers it, you go back to what? I'm in financial debt. Okay? Where does that problem go? It becomes unconscious again. And it only needs to be found when you start thinking about it. It's just like your mobile number. You don't need it automatically, but when you need to tell it, you can say it. But you've also run into the conflict of someone saying, what's your mobile number? Who's ever had their mind go blank? Like, oh God, what is it? And it takes a while to register. It's an unconscious search. Why is it so hard to solve our own problems? Because we're doing it with the wrong part of the mind. And the problem you think you have is not the problem. How can you consciously tell what the problem is if the problem is unconscious? The reason your problems exist unconscious because it's all based around learning, moral values, your addiction to the problem, if you will, your identity, the things you are all at an unconscious level. It's almost like you've been trained in that problem. Okay? So when you go to fix it, you say, well, I have anxiety in crowds. So you go to Toastmasters or you go to a self-development seminar. I'm not saying these things don't work, absolutely not. But majority of the cases, you walk away with the same problem, or it's got worse because you've been working on the wrong thing. Problems exist unconsciously. Who has ever had a really bad day and you think, you know what, screw the world, that was horrible, my boss yelled at me, I hate my life, we go home and have a wine and a block of chocolate, and you go to bed furious at the world, you sleep for a good 10 hours, then you wake up in the morning and you do this. Oh, it wasn't so bad. I guess he had a right to yell at me. I mean, I did lose $1 million for the law firm. He had a right to yell at me. Who's done something like that before? Why did your problem change?
I processed it.
Because of the chocolate and wine?
Yeah, because the chocolate and wine, yes. Yes. And the stranger laying next to you, yes, yes. Okay? The reason why it changed is because you stopped thinking about it, and sleep is just a form of therapy. We dream, we imagine, we experience emotions, and the unconscious mind connects it all. Why? Because the unconscious mind hates to see you in pain. So when you're feeling pain, where does all your attention go? To more pain. You can't stop thinking about it. As soon as you stop thinking about it, it starts to therapize itself. Does that make sense? Okay? Don't they say time heals all wounds? Yeah. Who's ever had a broken heart before? Okay, who hasn't, right? And you think, oh my God, if I run into this person on the street, I'm going to be devastated. What if they're with another person? What if they've been going to the gym and they're really buff now and they were really overweight before? Now I'm going to feel inaffectionately attractive. What's going to happen? And weeks go by, you're thinking, you're dwelling, you accept the problem, you say, you know what, screw him, he was an asshole to me. And then 2 minutes later you're going, oh, but I miss him so much, he was so lovely. You go through that grievance period, you accept it, you go through that, and over time, months and months and months and months go by, and then you accidentally run into this person on the street and you go, I don't care. There's no feeling there anymore. All the thoughts you had back then about how devastating it was never amounted to anything. Why? Because you stopped thinking about it, you got on with your life. Okay? So one of the worst things we can do, this is going to sound really counterproductive, one of the worst things you can do from your problems is try and fix them. Consciously. Okay? Not to say reading a good book won't help, not to say watching a good movie won't help, but it's where your attention goes. Okay? So, just as a side note, these are just mindset shifts for yourself, but also mindset shifts for you as a hypnotist. On the context of a hypnotherapist, one of the worst things we can do, and I see it rampant throughout the industry, and when I say we, because I used to do it too. My first paying client was when I was 17 years old. I didn't know what to do. So I just did what I thought I had to do. I thought I'd just tell my client what to do. Okay? One of the worst things we can do as a hypnotist is tell our clients how to solve their problem. Because we don't even know what their problem is, and they don't know what it is, so you're fixing the wrong thing. And it's the only reason why trance or hypnosis is so powerful if done correctly. We need to close off the conscious mind. Well, I've rubbed that off. We're going to close off the conscious mind here and allow the unconscious mind to do what it does best, heal you. The unconscious mind is vastly more creative. When I say vastly, unlimitless in its creativity to step outside of the boxes of the problem and find all these weird and wacky solutions to solve your problem. Who here has had an issue before and you tried every way to fix it only to keep going up against locked doors? You just couldn't get out of it. Your attention was, I'm in the problem, I can't get out of it. And then when you finally solve it through some miracle, you go, oh my God, I can't believe how easy that was. I'll just stop buying cigarettes, that'll help me stop smoking. The solution's always there. It's so simple, but what do? We over-exaggerate the problem and go to looking out to all these different outside sources to try and solve our own issue, when in most cases the solution is standing right next to us. And it's usually something really simple. Who's had that phenomena before? Okay? Think of complex tasks. when you first learned to drive. Really hard at the start, but right now it's simple because you practiced it and you allowed your unconscious mind to express itself thoroughly and do all the work for you so it becomes automatic, just like every other thing you do. Does that make sense? You ask a child to drive a car, some of them don't even know what it is. So they have another set of issues on top of the issue you thought you had, which is why we get overly confused and over-exaggerate. Does that make sense, just as a concept? So when we go through helping each other through this system here, I want to start laying down these mindset shifts for you as a hypnotist because it helps you outside of the technique. Our industry is really bound by, if you follow step 1, you'll get result, which is step 2. Once you've done step 2, you'll get a result, which will lead you to step 3, step 4, step 5. At the end of step 5, you realize, geez, I haven't done anything. They're still the same. But what do I do now? My technique has told me the outcome I should get, to the point where some techniques are even shown you, and I've come across these and you can't help but laugh, the technique will actually tell you what the client will say according to the question you ask them. How on earth could you figure that out? Maybe I'm just not that intelligent, but I want to do things backwards. I want to bring that conversation back into it and bring the rawness of what this acronym can do for us. Does that make sense? Okay? So in order to do this and to play with these ideas that I'm presenting to you, let's begin with the P here. Actually, I should add the U here. I did want to give you the 4th one just as a bonus. I'll write it down here. Who's heard of Dr. Milton Erickson before? Okay. If you haven't, I will refer to him a fair bit. Please do your research on Dr. Milton Erickson. You may be able to come across some clips on YouTube of him. Okay, he's the granddaddy of hypnosis, if you will. He broke all the rules and no one liked him, but now he's passed away, everyone loves him. And no one liked him, but now he's passed away, everyone loves him. Quite a conflict. The U stands for utilization. We get attention, we bypass the conscious mind with our induction, we stimulate the unconscious mind through therapy, through either a story or things that we're going to do over our 3 days. And then if you're intelligent enough and quick enough, you utilize what the unconscious mind expresses to you. If your client gets overly emotional, that's the unconscious mind expressing itself. You use those emotions to your advantage. If your client becomes overly confused, you use that confusion to your advantage. If your client tells you stories, you tell stories right on back. You utilize what the unconscious mind gives you. So instead of pre-planning your sessions, you just wait to have the client tell you what needs to be done. It's a lot easier that way. You never have to prepare. You're damn straight don't have to buy another script. You don't have to write another script. You have to do any of that stuff. But you do need to master this, and this can be a skill in itself. Hopefully I'll show you enough demonstration of what that looks like, but also give you some tactics so you can start to apply it in your normal interactions. Does that make sense? So, back to it. Priming. Let's go over here. All right. There are 2 ways we're going to look at hypnosis. I call these trance bubbles. We have trance bubble number 1 and trance bubble number 2. We have 2 choices here. Depending on if you like your clients, you can choose the bubble accordingly. Option number 1. You put a client into trance through your induction, which we'll learn, and just hope it's a pleasant experience for them. And just hope that they'll get therapized. And just hope they'll go deep enough. And just hope and hope and hope and hope. That's trance bubble number 1. And you're hoping when they come back out, they're happy. Who likes the sound of that? Okay, who likes that? Who would prefer for the hypnotist to set up the perfect trance, the perfect outcome, the perfect solution, and the perfect everything for you, and all you had to do was just listen to them? Who likes the sound of that? That's what trance bubble number 2 is. We kill hope and assumption, and we set it up. Who's seen those cooking shows where they bake a cake and they say, well, here's one I prepared earlier. We're going to bake that cake first. Okay? So what I would like you to do in your groups is put yourself in this position that you've booked in for a hypnosis session and your problem can be quite revealing. Okay, it's going to be very personal. Never been to hypnosis before. You've seen all the crazy shows. You've seen people cluck like chickens and it looks a bit scary. What type of things do you think would be going through your mind if you were in that position as a client? Do you think you'd be nervous? Do you think you'd be anxious about the session? What I'd like you to do is write down as many of these assumptions as possible of how this nervous hypnotist, or what this nervous client, is thinking and feeling. Write a list of these in your groups, because what we're going to do is set it up to appease those problems and those emotions, so when they go in here, the common report you get when they come out is, I want to go back, that was awesome. That's what we're looking for, okay? So let's bake that cake. So in your groups, write these down, let's see what we can come up with. What would the nervous client be thinking and feeling that could interrupt us? It'd be a hell of a car ride. All right? So, what type of things do you think this client will be experiencing?
They presuppose what's going to happen to them.
Presuppose what will happen and probably get it wrong as well, based on what they know or think they know about hypnosis, yeah? So it could work both ways, okay? Definitely resistance.
They're worried about what you either make them
yeah, all those thoughts, yes.
take control of their mind.
Yes, they reflect on the TV shows. There's a new horror movie that just come out that just ruins the credibility of hypnosis.
This won't work.
This won't work, based on maybe my friend's been hypnotised where he said it didn't work. Now I'm going to start thinking those thoughts as well. What else?
See a Facebook photo of yourself drooling?
Yes. Yes, see a Facebook photo of someone drooling in a hypnosis show or something like that, yeah. Think, was that going to happen to me? Yeah.
People said it doesn't work.
People said it doesn't work.
Or they already think that I can't be hypnotised.
I can't be hypnotised, yes. I'm too intelligent to be hypnotised. I'm not smart enough.
Relive some sort of traumatic memory.
Thank you.
Trying to hold that
Yeah. Is this session going to be too much for me to handle? Am I ready to experience this, face my demons? Am I ready, as Crystal said before, am I ready to let go of that identity? You know, that's who I am in my group. I'm the complainer. That's all they know me as. What else?
How will I know? I want concrete results. How will I know?
I want concrete, yes. I start thinking that I want those. Am I going to quit straight away? I want some tangible results straight away, or I want my money back.
What's it going to feel like?
What's it going to feel like?
Am I doing it right?
Am I doing it right? What is supposed to happen? That's a lot of thoughts going on inside someone's head. And we all do it when it's something important. Who's ever gone for a job interview before that was really, really important, and you sat there for days reflecting on a job interview you haven't had yet, and reflecting on the bad things? I'll never get it. What if they don't like me? What if I say the wrong things? I'm not good enough. Okay, the chances of those things actually working out are pretty superfluous. So we've got to think about it. If all those thoughts are going on in a client's head and they are not addressed, good luck. Because the trance they enter into will be one of this. Because they'll drag in all that negativity into the trance and taint what should be a very pleasant experience.
Is that because you're not switching off some of that conscious processes?
Yes, and the more those thoughts aren't addressed, the more the conscious mind holds on to them. Because when you sit down with your client, you get all hypnotic, you look in their eyes and you start talking, all confusing and hypnotic-like, the conscious mind starts to think, what are you doing? Is this going to be danger? Do I have to put up the brick wall of resistance even higher? And it just reflects everything you do. Okay? Who's ever maybe organised to go out with friends at a restaurant, and they pick the one restaurant that you hate, and you start to even taint the idea of having a good night with them? You turn up in a bad mood, you complain about everything. They could be having a marvellous time, but now you're down in the dumps before you've even arrived, based on past reflection. Who's done something like that before? You've ruined the experience. So if we as a hypnotist, our client says, I want to quit smoking, or I want to lose weight, and they come in, you sit them down, you pull out your script and start reading it to them without addressing these. If by some miracle they do go into trance, you're dragging in all this poison, if you will, with them. So we need to get rid of this, so when they go in here, they're a clean slate. And by doing that, we're going to set up the perfect trance so it is all wonderful. Does that make sense? And this is the priming. Based on the classical, this is known as the pre-talk. Okay? So what I want you to do with your list of all the negative stuff, let's say you were that client again. What would you like your hypnotist to tell you about the session that you know nothing about yet? If you're feeling anxious and nervous, would you like your hypnotist to say, you'll enjoy this experience and I'll look after you so you remember this for a lifetime? Who would like to hear that? Wouldn't that ease your mind just a little bit? So I want you to come up with what are known as priming themes. And they're just all happy stuff. Okay? So you might want to tell this client they'll be really relaxed, they'll enjoy the experience, they'll get to learn about themselves, all of those sorts of things. Does that make sense? Make a long list of these, and I suggest you buy a thesaurus because it does help expand your vocabulary, so you're not just saying the same words. You'll be really relaxed and you'll be really calm. There are more words outside of relaxed and calm. Okay? So let's write a list of as many of these priming themes as possible, so we can then start to create your priming sequence for setting up. Now, believe it or not, if you do this well enough, the priming sequence, the rest of the stuff, you can do almost half-assed. You can have the worst induction in the world, and you can be really, really bad at it, but if you set it up perfectly, your client will not be able to resist. It beats the old thinking, which is, what's the best induction for the best type of client? That's the wrong thinking. It should be, how well can I set up the context of the session so I can use any induction? Or I can just look at my client and say, close your eyes and go into trance, as Milton Erickson would do. But we need to set it up accordingly. So make a list, all positive, please, and let's see what we can come up with.
Would you, just a question, would you ever use like the double negatives, like you don't need to be concerned about? Is it sometimes useful or a bit dangerous?
It's not so much as useful and dangerous, it just, I understand it, but the theory of it's correct, but now you're just hoping that that's going to work as well. If you start talking, you might not go into trance as deeply as you think. You're already becoming too weird at that point.
No, I didn't so much mean that. I just mean double negatives. Like rather than saying, don't worry, I might say, be confident it'll work. I'm not sure. Is it a concern saying, don't worry about this?
You'll try it with your client, but yeah, you could spark the, well, don't worry. What do you mean by don't worry? Does that mean I should have worried before, but now you tell me not to? I would just do the opposite and just tell them everything you want to tell them without the double negative or the double entendre. Yeah, just straight to the point. Yeah. If you want them to feel calm, say you don't have to worry about not being relaxed. Just tell them you'll be relaxed. Yeah. Just go straight to the point. It's probably best. Okay? All right, so let's create a whole list of all positive things we almost want to reframe for our clients to think about instead of the thoughts they're thinking. We can't just tell our clients, everything you're thinking is wrong. I'll prove to you how good I am. Sit down, shut up, close your eyes. And can't do that. It'd be a lot easier, but unfortunately we don't work like that. Okay? So, put yourself in the position of the nervous client. What would you like your hypnotist to tell you about the forthcoming session? It's going to be safe. Excellent. So it's going to be safe. They will be in control.
Enjoyable.
Definitely enjoyable. Enjoyable.
Learning.
They will learn. What else?
They'll be protected.
Excellent. They'll be protected. Okay.
Positive outcomes?
Positive outcome. So positive. Yes.
They can't do anything, we can't make them do anything that they don't want us to do.
Yep. So we just have that sort of control.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about freer?
They will.
Feel freer.
Excellent. They'll feel free. Yep.
Tell my clients that they'll find the answer that they're looking for.
Excellent. So they'll find their own solution. Isn't that easier than trying to find it for them?
Relax.
They'll definitely feel relaxed. Now I want to mention something about relaxation. It's commonly stated that in order for a client to go into trance, they have to be relaxed. That's not the case. Relaxation is not a prerequisite. It's just sometimes, and I choose that word correctly, sometimes the outcome. So if you're heavily, if you're in the mindset where heavy relaxation is what you think your client needs to go into and they don't reach that, you'll automatically think, well, this is not working. Relaxation is an outcome, not a prerequisite. Okay, a lot of hypnotists get caught in the other classical version, which is just to relax their client so much and assume that means trance. Relaxation and trance are completely different. They're not a prerequisite to each other. They're just an outcome of each other. Does that make sense? What else?
Hypnosis is what they think it is,
Yep.
not what you think it is.
Yep. So put think. Yeah, I like that. What else?
Comfortable.
Definitely comfort. What else?
It's a natural process. Hypnosis is a natural thing.
Definitely natural. Anything else?
Everything's confidential.
Yeah, everything's private and confidential. So private. What else?
That they can open their eyes anytime.
Yep, be in control. We can open eyes. Let me give you this. Do you think this would be appropriate? You won't tell me any of your deepest, darkest secrets. Would you say that? Probably answers your question from before. Classical pre-talk, we're taught to do that. I was clinically trained and taught to do that. Now, I understand the theory sounds great. But then, what if your client starts to think, well, what's so special about me? Or can he do that? Is he just being nice to me? Already, I've lost their attention. So just tell them what you want to tell. Okay? What else? Sorry?
I didn't quite get that.
What I just said before?
Yeah, what you just said.
Yep, that's fine.
Confused my brain.
We're commonly taught to tell our clients things like this. You won't tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. You won't tell me anything you don't want me to tell. I won't go into your handbag and grab your credit card details. Because we're supposed to let them know that it's the opposite way of saying everything's safe. You may as well just tell them you'll be safe, I'll look after you. Because all it takes is a client to think, well, is she just or he just being nice to me? Can he do that? Has he done that before? What makes me so special? How can I trust? Already, where's their mind? Gone.
They may not have even thought about that before.
Exactly.
I thought they could go through
Yeah.
Just the fact that you're using those words.
Yeah,
you know.
it implants it. Yeah, I won't make you cluck like a chicken, everything's fine. Well, actually, I wasn't thinking about that. Is that what hypnosis? Gone already.
Scott, do you ask them what their experience is though, or what they think?
Yeah, we will get to that point in day 2 because it's an easier way to address their common concerns. But if my client doesn't bring it up, if I do enough of this, that'll just become a background thought. So yes. Anything else, guys? Let's get as many of these as possible. Simple. Yes.
So I wrote down that they would have control over what they would share with me.
Yes.
So that's quite positive and direct. isn't it?
Absolutely. Would that make you feel better if you were nervous as a client?
Yeah, because sometimes you think you have to spill your guts, but I
Yes.
realise with this you don't.
Yep. If you tell them that, they'll end up spilling their guts anyway because it's part of what they do. But yeah, if you tell them they're in control, they're more than likely willing to spill their guts, so to speak, because you've offered control. I haven't said to you, you must tell me everything, because now it's an argument. But I'll say, look, you just tell me what's comfortable for you. If you want to tell me, great. If you don't, that's fine also. Think, well, maybe I should just tell you everything because you seem really nice about it. So it's an indirect way to say, you've got to give me everything. I want to know everything. Open up your mind for me. Okay? What else do we have?
Effective?
Yeah, it's going to be effective. Long term. What else?
Uplifted?
Uplifted. Yeah, let's get some more feeling words. What would trance feel like?
Energized.
Powerful, energized. Yep, energized. And so on and so forth. Clear, energized, tranquil, relaxing, peaceful, learning, fulfilled, spiritual, connection. What's the common theme here?
I feel good.
Better than you
Happy. Why? Because a client comes in negative. Even if a client doesn't go through this and starts thinking negative things about hypnosis, Why are they coming in? Because they have a negative experience in their life they do not like. So where's their mindset already? Negative. If you do not address it, they will go into that trance negatively. So we want to set it up accordingly. So in order to get our priming done correctly, what I would like us to do is have a 10-minute break just to stretch your legs. Don't go too far. We'll have lunch at about 12:30. And then I'm going to show you how we can put this into place to create the perfect outcome and the perfect session for your clients every single time. Okay?